Good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. This is another episode from Mason Mobile Mechanic. We're working on a Hummer H3 2008. We're going to go ahead and do the brakes. This is a pretty quick, straightforward task. You want to jack up your vehicle, support it, get this tire in the air, just rip it apart, get her done. All right, so can you come around here to see this side of it? On my back side.
Okay.
So when you're back here on this brake caliper, you're going to want to disengage these little pins. Little Phillips or flathead, any of that would be sufficient. Just push them in. I always retain them because you never know if you come across a car that doesn't have them. They're a pain to get, some of this hardware. But you never want to reuse them. They always come with new ones from the dealer. Once you get those two pins out, I don't know if you can see how they have a hook. You just got to push the hook out of the way and slide them off. They go back on just like that. In case you can't see it when I go to do the reassemble. But you just take out these little guide pins. This is a separating pad spring. It keeps the pad from dragging on the rotor. Then you take these guys out. These are the pads. They're a double shim system. This shim in here retains some of the anti-seize and brake pad lubricant, which we will put right on here. You don't want to put too much, just a real thin amount. It's not great to touch it. I just put a little bit on. I put this shim on first, which is highly important, and then we put on the smooth shim. When you have this brake checker, you want to make sure it didn't get dented in shipping. You want to make sure it's level with this, the backing pad, which this one is. So we're good there. We'll just put a little bit on there, just smear it around. Don't get it anywhere else on the brake pad or you'll have issues. This just keeps the noise down and the chatter. All right, once you do that, dust it a bit. I use a little brass wire brush because I don't want to make any damage. You don't want to breathe in any of this dust. It can cause some serious health problems. It's nice to do it in a well-ventilated area. But I just knock all the dust off before I compress, so I don't have any issues with it marring up the piston or the cups of these calipers. You'll see a lot of guys blow in there with their mouth. Don't do that. You don't want to inhale that. You just slap it with a rag or use an air gun if you got it. We're a mobile outfit. But all that's in there. You don't want to mar up this, so you want to be very careful with your rotor. Just want to push the cups back evenly. Once they're in enough, the one with the checker on the bottom side will go on the passenger. The one that's on the top side will be flipped obverse on the other side of the vehicle. These are the inside pads only for this style of car. You always want the checker facing on the inside pad all the way at the bottom. Just move just a little bit. Making sure I got it in enough before I grease it. real tight fit. Not quite there yet. Just whatever you use to pull these cups in. Just don't make any marks in the rotor. I feel that it's good. So what I do is I put a little bit on here, right on this glide. Once I know I got it in far enough. This will aid in it slipping in and out and also keeping the noise and chatter down. Perfect. Now we'll flip over. You can only do one side at a time. We'll now go to the other side. Nope. Need to use that just to give it a little bit. Get it started. There we go. A little bit more on the upper cup. Good, I'm gonna check it. Not quite there. I try not to push it in too far, so when I'm done with my brake job, I'm not sitting there priming my system the whole time. Good. Now since I know we're good, put a little bit more on this glide. And that's just here. I don't know if you can see that well on that video. It's just where the pad sits. So it's like running up against here. Do not get this stuff on your pad. If you get it on your pad, you're gonna have to use brake cleaner and get it back off really good. You want no oily residue or what have you put on it. As soon as you get them in there looking like that, you can get your brake hardware kit. And you get your spring. It'll look just like this right here. Just like how we got started. You put it in the hole on both sides, and then you push these down in between the pads. Then slide in this. Sometimes you gotta wiggle the pads. You just keep wiggling it until you get it aligned. Then it's all the way in. All the shims and everything. Everything's got to line up just right. Then, I don't know if you remember these little guys in the beginning of the video. You got to put these back. Now once I get them back in and the hooks are deployed, I flip them around. I spin this whole rod to where they're facing the back of the caliper so they can't easily just fall out. You don't have to do that, but that's just what I do. Reassurance. And I'll spin that one around. That one's a little harder because it's got a spring. There we go. And then just check them for operation. The spring is pushing them away so they're not going to drag on the rotor. Rotor is not bound. This particular car has a blown upper control arm. You'll see that in the next video. But brakes are done. Now we just have to put the tire back on, torque the 6 lug nuts to the appropriate torque, and send her to the parking lot until the next part comes in. Thank you for watching another video. Hope this helps you. Have a great night.